Welcome to the Heart, Mind, Body Collective podcast, where heart, mind, and body meet and practice. This podcast has been created for those who are passionate about personal and professional growth, emotional well-being, connection, relationships, self-mastery, and all things mystical. Your host is Rebekah Fisher, doula, hypnotherapist, intuitive, and relationship coach.
Here we go. Okay, welcome, Florence.
Hey, how are you?
I am so good, and I'm so thrilled to have you on because you are one of my favorite people in the whole world. And I know we don't get to see each other that regularly anymore, but you are one of my favorite people. So
Okay.
I got a little
Okay,
bit teary there.
don't.
So
I'm honoured, and I miss you, and I love that we see each other so often, but it's so lovely to have this beautiful friendship, and I love you. So
yes. Thank you. Thank you. So for those that that are listening and have no idea why we have this great connection, Florence, the beautiful Florence King, and I used to be on this little cult show, as I liked, a TV show called Psychic TV. And then I think it was
yeah,
PTV and then something else.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
it had been around for a long time. So yeah, I first met Florence there as a psychic reader and tarot reader, and I always say to Florence, you're our John Edwards.
Love
Because I know you love John Edwards. I think he's your
man.
favourite, isn't he?
He really is. I'm sure there'll be like an AVO one day for this woman stalking him, so either way. But no, that's the beautifulest compliment you can give me, because he's the king of the, my head won't fit on the screen now. You've just given me the beautifulest compliment, but he is the
That's
best. The
true.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I think I've told you many times, like we'd be at like at Mind Body Spirit Festival, because we both worked there for years,
Yeah.
and I was in the reading room and you had your own stand and then you'd platform. Or at those Mingara,
Yeah.
those
Festivals.
psychic
Yeah.
fairs and festivals, and I would stop work to come and watch you platform.
So beautiful.
Yeah, because you're just so good at it. That's the thing. And
Love it.
even though like I did the live TV, I always felt too inhibited to be able to get up there in a whole group of people and
Yeah.
just, it was like, what if I freeze? What if I say the wrong thing? What
Yep.
if I get it wrong?
Yep.
Whereas for you, it just comes so, I overthink it. Whereas
Yeah.
you just let it flow in that way. And it's
Oh,
just remarkable watching you. So how did this
beautiful.
all happen for you? Do you
Well,
want to
I'm
share with everybody your
I'm
story?
a late I'm a late bloomer, Beck, a really late bloomer. I
Yeah.
can't say it was always there, but now that I'm
Mm.
trained, I can look back and say, yes, it was always there. But I didn't know.
Yeah.
I opened the door at 44, and I went to
Yeah.
train. And the funny thing is, when I went to training, within 6 months, I was working professionally. Who does that? So I think it
Yeah.
was
That's
me. And now 19 years later, I've never had a day off. Like, I
yeah.
never stopped for any period of
Yeah.
time. On TV, we were on there for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I never had time off there. And I just love, and I think it's finding your calling. And for
Yes.
me, always interested in this world, and sort of
Mm.
never found anybody that really knocked my socks off. And I remember
Mm.
looking at, I want to do what they do, all these people. And suddenly it
Mm.
happened. So it was almost like the
Mm.
universe listened. And as I said, who at 44 goes to a class and 6 months is working professionally? I'm like, and it
No,
really
it's
has,
unheard of.
the
Yeah.
floodgates opened. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it's so meant to be. And you're very
Yeah.
genuine with it. And you really, like, I will never
Yeah.
forget when my stepfather passed and I think I was at home and you were on, and I was like, I'm going to get my mum a reading, for her
Oh,
partner. And we didn't talk.
yeah.
I didn't tell you
No.
anything. I told you
Yeah.
nada. And you got like they let butterflies go at the funeral, and like
Oh,
you picked that up. You just were
oh,
so spot on. I was like, "Whoa," as
oh.
I'm filming it from the television.
So beautiful.
You
And that's
know, like
what
it was
it's supposed
so
to be. Yeah,
beautiful. And it should be a gift like that. You should come away
yeah,
feeling like,
yeah.
yes, they've connected
Empowered.
with my person,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
my person's
yeah,
okay. Because
yeah,
I mean the amount of
yeah,
time, and I don't know how you handle, when you're platforming, or because all the symptoms that come through, like
yeah,
the
yeah,
car
yeah,
accidents and the heart
yeah,
attacks and
yeah,
the throat, and I
yeah,
can't speak. I mean, how
yeah,
do you
yeah.
navigate that for it? It's like in
I
your
think,
own physical self, like when you connect with
yeah,
it.
I think one of the main skills, and you know your faults and you know your weaknesses,
Mm.
you know your strengths. And my strength is speed, and not many I think can
Mm.
match speed, and I love that. So
No,
I
yeah.
remember Christian calling me the medium machine gun, pop, 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 like that, and I thought that was amazing, and I thought, I think that's a compliment. But to me, it's like, things
Yeah.
come so fast for me, and I'm so in tune now
Yeah.
with my guides, and that the getting the feelings, as soon as I acknowledge it, the next one's there. So to
It
me, speed
passes.
is,
Yeah.
yeah. So that to me makes it, and I sort of don't let the audience take over. I take over, because if somebody asks a question and I give a
Yeah.
yes or no answer, where's the validation there? So you've got to, it's the
Yeah.
same as the phone calls, the readings. I'm like, let me see what I get first, then you can ask me questions. So, so I think
Yes.
it's
Yes.
where the pow comes in. I talk fast,
Yeah.
I don't think, I
Yeah.
think fast. So yeah, so I love that. So spirit knows that, okay, give it to her fast, she'll handle it, so
She'll
yeah,
handle it totally, because
yeah.
it's quite remarkable. It's very
Oh,
remarkable.
I
And then
love it.
like
Love
you've gone and written, how many books have you written now? Like it's
six.
amazing.
Six. I think, and it's like I really got to stop it, because everyone that slights me goes in the book.
Yeah.
But it's like they go in there anonymously, but they know who they are. But the thing is, but no, I've loved. That's been an unexpected part of the journey. I want to be known for
Yeah.
mediumship. I don't want to be known as an author, but it's been a
Yeah.
lovely part of it too. And I think that sort of came unexpectedly, because people kept asking my story, and I thought, what if
Yeah.
they'd be interested if I wrote it down? Well, the first
Yeah.
lot of books sold 500 copies. I don't think I could have sold
Yeah.
that in a bookshop. So that's
No,
really, really
no.
good. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's amazing. That's so
yeah, yeah,
amazing. That's
yeah.
really amazing. And you do
Love
lots
it.
of you do so
Yeah.
many shows. You're always,
I do so
which is
many.
just,
Yeah.
and you did a
Yeah.
comedy show with Rhonda recently or something.
I
Tell me more
know.
about that. Like you're
I'm,
literally branching out as well. Like it's pretty
I
cool.
think all along I've always been about, let's do something that sets us apart and unique. And I'm a very big fan
Mm.
of doing things for the first time. When you talked about nerves, I feel I look like I'm comfortable on stage,
Yeah.
but I feel like I have a chicken before I perform. But once I get in the zone, I'm okay. But it's all about doing first. And I was the first Australian medium to perform at the Sydney Opera House after Doris Stokes from
Yeah.
England. And that was like
That's
40 or
right.
50 years ago. So I was pleased
Yeah.
about that. I've got a documentary streaming on the live streaming things that nobody else
Oh,
has ever,
that's
and that's
that's
still there.
right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and then Rhonda did the comedy festival in Brisbane, and they decided to bring to Sydney. Would you like to be a
Yeah.
part of it? I said absolutely. So we went to the comedy festival, and that was fantastic. Mother's Day, I think we got just under 100 people through the door on Mother's Day. So that was
That's
fantastic. So,
extraordinary.
yeah, so it's like it's just, I always, when somebody says something is a bit unique, I like to sort of take the challenge and be the one to
Mm.
open the door for that. So I remember
Yeah.
there was a theatre group that hired me in between theatre. I was the intermission act, and we did
Oh, wow.
nobody else had done that. So I love that. I love the unique. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
always
That's
looking for something
extraordinary.
different. Yeah, yeah,
But you do have such a strong connection to spirit, and not everyone has that in this industry. They might
yeah,
say they
yeah,
have that, but they don't,
yeah, yeah,
that. And I know we
yeah,
all work differently,
yeah, yeah. I think
like
it's
I,
education, Beth. I think it's sad
yeah,
that a lot of even psychics sometimes don't know the difference between mediumship, and that just comes down to
yes,
training. So I think people
Yes.
think if they get, if they sort of say I've got a woman around you and the person says, oh, it's mum, that they've linked in with mum, but they really haven't. You know what I mean? So I
No.
think people don't understand that. And you've got to get in, you've got to pick up the detail. You've got to pick up the name, how they
Yes.
pass, all those sorts of things. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's education.
totally. It takes a
Yeah.
little bit more, I
Yeah.
guess, questioning too. Like I know, like when I get people that have passed that have come through, I sit there and sometimes I'm like, right, you show me who you
That's
are.
right.
Like,
That's right.
you know,
That's
like you
right.
need to
That's
show
right.
me who you are.
Yeah.
So like
That's
it's
right.
like you can't
Yeah.
just trust what you first see almost. You know what I mean?
No.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
show me more, show
Yeah.
me more, show me
And
more.
we're talking to people that don't have a voice, so we've got to try and learn the
Yes,
language and
that's
how to
right.
decipher. So, and I teach what I do, and I've been teaching
Oh,
for
that's right. You do. That's I
17.
forgot
Yeah,
about that.
you
Yeah,
know,
you've been
I do
teaching for
so many
years. Yeah.
things. I've been teaching for nearly 18 years, and I've only been doing the
Yeah.
business for 19 years. And in
Yeah.
that, I teach my students that my students go out and they're trained for anything that comes, and that's where training is so important. You've got to
Yeah.
really have somebody guiding you. And I think,
Mm.
I was very lucky that I've been able to kick the door open and bring a lot of people through that door. Even with the
Yeah.
documentary, with them saying, I said, I'll come to my class. That's very important about what I'm doing to help people. And they said, oh, we're not focusing on the students. So I went, no, come to my class. And I got them
Mm.
on the documentary that's gone worldwide. So I was really proud about
Mm.
that, to be able to give that to my students. So I think it's, and I've got one, Ben, Ben, Benjamin
Mm.
Graham. He's been with
Oh,
me for more than
yeah,
more than eight
yeah.
years, and he's perfectly capable of going out and but he still wants to learn and perfect his art, and that's somebody who's dedicated.
Mm.
So that I love that. I love the teaching as well. So yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Oh,
yeah,
teaching. I love teaching too. I think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
education's so empowering for people. And then just watching them go and do their thing and they're glowing and they're,
Absolutely.
you
It's like
know,
your
they're living
babies.
their truth. They are like our babies. It's like off you go,
Yeah,
spread your
yeah,
wings.
fly.
It's such a
Yeah,
beautiful thing. It's
it is.
such a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
No, I think
yeah,
that's it. It is important. It is important. And I don't know how, sometimes you sit there and people have had such bad experience with psychic
yeah,
readings,
yeah,
and
yeah,
my heart
yeah,
breaks.
yeah,
They're told
yeah.
really negative things or they're told the wrong thing or,
Right, right.
and
I've
it's
I've had two.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, I've had two examples where people have told somebody they're going to pass away, and I'm like, we're not
Oh,
God.
yeah.
We can't.
No,
If
you
you
can't.
can. And I remember asking John Edward this because I was hoping that his answer would align with mine. And I said, do you
Yeah,
tell people you see that they're going to pass away? And he said, no, unless I can make a difference. I tell my guides don't show me. And I thought that is so powerful. And we
yeah,
could say,
I agree.
we could say, I see somebody, not making it tonight, but that person's willpower might make them last 6 months,
Exactly.
so. And people are one of the ones that horrified me the most is people telling somebody that their baby is going to be born with medical issues. So, and I'm like,
Mm,
oh, leave that to the doctors. You don't go to a doctor for a psychic reading, shouldn't come to us for a
no.
doctor's reading, medical,
Yes,
so
yes,
yeah,
yes,
hard.
100%. I remember one of
Yeah.
my very first readings back in the day where this woman came to me and she was like, oh, a psychic told me that my husband was going to die in a car accident. And
Oh,
so,
gee.
oh, Florence, it was horrible. And
Yeah,
like, I'm
yeah,
sitting there and I'm
yeah,
just like, one, I'm
yeah,
not picking that up whatsoever
yeah,
at all,
yeah, yeah.
and two, I'm
Yeah.
looking at this poor woman who had started to emotionally disconnect from her
That's
partner.
right. That's right.
And
That's
and
right.
then she had developed this intense anxiety every time he left the
That's
house. And
right.
it's just
And
like
imagine, oh,
awful. It's just awful to
that's
do that to
right.
people.
That's right. And imagine if she told him every time he goes out, he'll be like this and could cause an accident.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
himself. I had a lady that she was so nervous. When she sat down, I said, maybe you shouldn't have the reading. You look very nervous. She said,
Mm.
and I said, let me guess, somebody's told you something bad. She said, yeah, they told me I was going to die at 64 or 65. And I said, how old are you? She said, 64. I said, look, I'm not seeing that. Because
Oh,
in her mind, she was like, well, nothing's going to happen after 65. It wasn't, I don't think I convinced her then, but it was really 2 years later when she rang and said, I made it. And I went, I told you you
oh.
would. It's awful that somebody put that in their head, because that's God's
Yeah,
business, not our business. If I can prevent somebody
no.
getting in because I see danger, or that's different. But it's very dangerous, and we've got to be very careful about the responsibilities with our readings.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I totally agree. And that's why I feel like it's so funny. Like I did a post the other day, because I just feel like, the ego in the industry is so large.
And there's no
In
policing,
that
Becca.
negative
That's
way,
right. That's
that
right.
negative way. So
Turns people off coming and seeing us because they have a bad experience. So that's why I
yeah,
do so many free things, so people can see what we're about, what a real
yeah,
medium is. But I mean,
yeah.
it's awful, and there's no policing in this business, because if you give somebody money and they give you a bad reading, well, what you've given them money willingly, they've given you a service even if you didn't like it. So it's very, very,
Yeah, it's tricky in
so
that way. Yeah, it
yeah,
is really, really tricky in that way. But I do believe we have, I guess it's duty of care.
yeah, yeah,
It's a duty
yeah,
of care, because so how
yeah,
many are coming to us with, their loved ones have passed,
yeah,
their
yeah,
relationships are messed up, or they've got health issues, which on a
yeah,
level is very difficult
yeah.
because we're not doctors, and
Oh,
I know
yeah,
there are
yeah,
medical
yeah,
mediums that kind of,
yeah,
play in those pools. But
yeah.
yeah, we have
And
such a duty of care to people.
it is. And nobody ever comes to us that's won lotto and nothing's wrong in the world. Every
Yeah.
single person that comes to us,
They
everyone's
ask us,
got
am I going to
something
win
missing.
lotto?
That's right. That's if I had $1 for that. And I can't believe how many people say, well, if you're psychic, you'd know. And I'm like, if I was psychic and had the lotto numbers, I wouldn't be here. I remember someone
Yeah.
ringing me and asking me, there was a radio competition, and do you have the answer so I can win? And I'm like, well, if I had the answer, I'd be joining in, But to me,
Oh.
it's so many, there is so many levels of responsibility. That's exactly right. And as I said, we don't have all the answers, but we try our best. But you want to empower people, and you want them to not become dependent on us, but to walk away feeling up,
Yes.
but educating, and letting them know that this is what to expect out of a reading. And
Yeah.
and not make them feel worse, or, as I said, it
Yeah.
turns them off to see somebody. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. No, they shouldn't walk away feeling worse than when they came.
No,
And
no.
I certainly don't see people leaving, after having a reading with you feeling worse. They always rave about
Oh,
you.
that's so.
But coming backpedaling a little bit, I remember again when I was first reading, some guy asking me, and he was gay too, so I don't know why he had a thing for, and I mean, he just loved Angelina Jolie, but he was like,
Oh,
I'll give you 10 grand if you can give me her mobile number. I was
people are
like, only
funny, aren't
10
they?
grand, but
I can't. People are hilarious, aren't they? They
like, they're
think
so
every year.
funny. They're so
That's
funny. They're so
crazy.
funny. It's just
Oh, I love it,
crazy,
but I'll be
crazy.
ringing them myself.
Yeah, that's it. I wouldn't be giving you the number.
You just never. You look at actors have a speech, and if they miss a word, they can come back. Or a singer has a song and they muck up a line, they can come back. But we never. We have no script, and we never know what's going to come through, and we
No.
never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
That is
yeah,
so true. That's
yeah,
that's very well said. We just kind of have to trust in what's flowing through
yeah,
us.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we
That's why
do.
it's
That's a whole
daunting.
other
Yeah,
level of working, isn't it? I know, because
yeah.
people go, "Oh, but you just sit and talk all day," and it's like, but I'm not really like I'm.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
a whole other level of consciousness or
Right.
our awareness that we're working
Yeah,
with, and
yeah,
we're like, and
yeah.
we are the medium, we're the mediator between the
Right. That's
human
right.
and the divine, really.
That's right. That's
The
right.
spirit,
Yeah,
and we do have
yeah,
to. Like, sometimes I'm like, this is the symbols, or this is what I'm getting. Like, I'll offer this to you because this is what they're
yeah,
showing me. This is what they're, this is what's
yeah.
going on. I don't always understand what it means. So,
That's
I have
right.
to interpret
Right.
that and learn that language. And that's where I do
That's
believe that education and just years of
exciting.
learning to trust
Yeah,
in what you're
yeah. Getting.
getting,
Yeah, and fine
and being
tuning.
able to pass that on. Yeah,
That's
the
right.
fine
Right.
tuning.
And whereas, and I know you're as dedicated and has the integrity as well. I come and approach the free readings exactly as I do the paid readings, because they're all
Yes.
as significant, and it's all learning.
Yeah.
And I don't ever say, oh, well, I can be a bit lax here. No, it's always 110%
No.
on, so,
What's that?
Yes, that's right.
What's being like?
That's
I
not in
don't
my
know.
vocabulary. So,
I don't know what that means, Florence. I have no
yeah.
idea. I know. And there is a generosity. I mean, you're a very generous person, but also
Oh,
too,
thank
I just feel, and I don't know, I guess this is what I love about, that sense of being of service. And then, we are ultimately taken. I mean, yes, life happens and life,
Yeah,
I got hit by a car. People get
yeah,
sick and we
yeah,
can't avoid
yeah,
that human
yeah,
experience. But
yeah.
all the years of this connection really do let you know that there is something else, a higher power that we can work with, that we can trust in, even if we don't always understand the why.
That's exactly right. Well, I don't believe
I
we're all
don't
just
know.
arrived here.
You got to surrender that. I
That's
know
right.
all the answers. I'm not God.
No, if people say, how does it work? And I go, I don't know. And they look at you as
No.
if to say, you know what? I don't know how the internet works either, Beck, as you found out as you're trying to get on here. Can I use it? You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't believe we all just arrived here. We came from somewhere, and I believe we go back somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So
Yes.
we don't have all the answers, and you're right. We're human. But again, we do the best we can. And if we don't have
Yeah.
the answers, be honest with people,
I
and
agree. Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think it's always maintaining that integrity, because people expect that we're superhuman beings. We're not. We're
Yeah.
just somebody
No.
and perfects our skill set as best we can.
Mm.
And that doesn't mean to say we always get it right. And that's what I love about John Edward. He says, I don't always get it right. And I love that honesty.
Yeah.
Getting 80 to 90% of it right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
he
that's
does. Yeah.
so
Yeah. He's truly amazing. And I really love Tyler Henry too. That
Oh,
young, isn't
yes.
he
Love him.
divine? He's just,
Yes. I love the empathy and the honesty. I love how he says,
yes.
I don't see this, or I don't feel that, and I love that
Yeah.
honesty. So it's
Yeah,
good.
it is important. I think it's important. It's like, okay, sorry. And like sometimes they're like, oh, well, what are they wearing? I'm like, I can't see them.
Yeah,
I
that's
know they
right.
have green eyes and brown hair, but I don't know
That's
how I
about
know.
it.
But,
Yeah, yeah.
they're like, oh,
That's
and I'm like,
exactly
it doesn't always
yeah.
come like a movie. You get
No,
like sometimes
that's right.
flashes of things, or you'll get like a word at you. Sometimes you'll get a little
Exactly
phrase,
right.
but
Because
but
they don't.
it is,
That, it's
they
fragmented.
can't verbalize.
Yeah, that's right. I know that, and people again don't mean to mislead, but people have a habit of
Yes.
saying, I see somebody beside you. Well, then if you see them, you should be able to describe them. An example I
Yeah.
had, I was widowed 36 years ago, and every single psychic says, I see him beside you. But Becky had a massive big beard. Not one person ever said he had a beard. So my instinct was, if you see him, but you know what I mean? Some people would be
Yes.
fraudulent, but some people are just uneducated. So you might get the vision of
Yes.
somebody beside me, but you're not actually seeing him from head to toe. And it's the same as when people say, oh, he's telling me this. Then you're setting yourself up for, well, then ask him
Totally.
this and give me a nickname. So,
Yeah.
that's like where Tyler and John Edwards say, I'm supposed to show you this, or I'm supposed to tell you this, or
Yes.
rather than he said, she said, because you don't get that
Totally.
clear conversation. So, it's all in
No,
the word.
no. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
all in the wording. And that's what I find when you're doing the mediumship, as opposed to like for me when I'm doing like the other psychic stuff, like, okay, just reading the person's energy, and what's happening for them and their
yeah,
relationship with their husband or their
yeah.
kids. Like it's, and
Yeah,
sometimes people from the other side are there, but they're just
that's right.
there. They're not like, because that's not what that's about, in this
Yeah,
context. So
yeah.
yeah,
It's beautiful.
it's
It's the best
it's a
call I've ever.
totally that mediumship. It's a different level of
It
connection,
is. It is. It is.
and it
Everybody's
isn't
psychic.
what people
Yeah,
always think. I think we are all
that's right.
psychic, because psychic to me is
Yeah,
also our intuition. It's that
that's right.
capacity to be
That's
able
right.
to, connect with someone in their
Yeah,
soul, in their heart, or whatever. And
yeah,
so, of course, you get this
yeah,
exchange, which
yeah.
is, I
That's
think,
right.
another word for
Yeah,
psychic. And to me, I feel
yeah,
like it's another. it's like an emotional intelligence, really.
Yep.
And because people think,
Yep.
oh, you've got this superpower. I was like, oh, can you tell
Yeah.
God, or can you tell them I'm okay? And I'm like, you can talk to them too. Like,
That's right. It's a knowing, and there's nobody in the world
knowing,
born
yeah.
without intuition. Nobody born without intuition.
Yes,
We all have that intuition. So
we
yeah,
all have it.
yeah,
It's what we choose
yeah,
to cultivate. And
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I don't know any other way to live. And I'm forever telling
yeah.
people it's not a superpower. Like,
That's
I
right.
mean,
That's right.
and there are
That's right.
times I certainly haven't listened to it, And there are times that it tells you things you're like, oh, I didn't want to know that
I don't
about
want to
that
hear that.
person.
That's
I
right.
don't
That's
actually
right.
want to know that. That's
That's right. Yeah,
okay, now the bubbles burst and that
yeah,
person
yeah,
has
yeah,
revealed who they are to me. Okay,
yeah,
all right, I
yeah,
get
yeah,
it. I
yeah,
get it.
yeah,
Cut the
yeah,
cords, let them go.
yeah, yeah.
Like
And
it's not always
hmm,
easy to live with
that's
this
right.
gift.
That's right. And people expect that because we're all knowing,
Mm.
and look, I've cried on live TV, I've cried on stage.
Yes.
People go, that's not professional. Well, you know what, Beck, that I'm not professional because that's the human
Yeah.
side. And it can,
Yes.
and it reminds me of my passings, or I really feel sorry for somebody. I'm not going to stamp that
Yeah.
down. People connect with
No.
that. So, yeah, and that
Yeah.
makes us more
Yeah.
human, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And that I think that makes us that's the genuine, that's the
Yeah,
authenticity because you're really
yeah,
feeling you can really feel what's
yeah. They're
the
going
pain, the
through.
grief, or the
Yeah,
God. Sometimes you really feel how much. Like I sit there with some people, and I'm like, oh, you really did love each other. Like when you've
yeah,
got
yeah,
the wife is
yeah,
sitting in front of you, and her husband's passed, or and he's like,
yeah,
oh my
yeah,
God, oh,
yeah,
your heart
yeah,
breaks, and like
yeah.
you are in
Right,
tears. How can you not be
right.
affected by that?
You have been made of stone,
The
and people have lost
realness of it.
children, and we don't
Yes.
have the answer for why
I don't
that's
have one,
happened.
no.
But all we can do is let them know that there's somehow they go on. But that's no comfort. You can't. I'm not a fan
No,
when people say I bring closure to them. You never bring closure to grief.
no,
It's
no.
eternal, But you try and
Yeah,
let them know that you will meet again, and there's something beyond
yeah,
this life, and that they'll be able. Their consciousness will be able to be with you and know what's going on every day. And I think that helps me in my grief, and I hope it helps people with their grief. And that's all we can
yeah.
do. We can't wave a magic wand or cure. You can't put a band-aid over a gaping heart wound. So it's
No,
hard.
no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no. I agree with
yeah,
you with that. And I feel like we do
yeah,
see a lot of people that are in grief. And, you hear
yeah,
that. It's like, oh, I was told I should get over it because it's been a year.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah,
yeah. But that's your person. And there is, I think,
right.
what do they say? Grief is that sign that we have loved. And it's a
That's
part
right.
of the human
Right.
experience.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you you can't
That's
you
right. I think
can't
the
fix
Queen put
that.
it. Yeah, Sorry, the Queen said the grief is the price we pay for love, and I thought you couldn't have put that better.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's so, so right. That's so
yeah,
right.
yeah,
I know,
yeah.
I know, I know.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
and everybody has something. I think the main thing is grief isolates you and makes you think you're the
Mm,
only one suffering and you're the only one in
mm,
pain, and nobody will understand. Or like you said, something's wrong with me because I'm not getting over it. So I think people need to know that everything they're feeling is natural and it is
yes.
lifelong. And you'll have days where it's like a wave, and sometimes it's like a
Yeah.
tsunami where it knocks you off your
Yeah.
feet. And
Yeah.
and that's normal. So yeah,
It's normal. Totally. Totally. I
yeah,
remember when my dad passed and it was like, so that's the first, my parent passing. I had my grandmother pass and my pop passed and other people pass. Like I had
yeah,
friends and an old lover of mine pass. He sometimes comes in and they'll all pop in and readings or
yeah,
whatever. But
yeah,
like that was so different to be on the other side of that.
yeah,
And then it was so
absolutely.
humbling going, wow, I hope I've been able to be
Yeah,
be there for
yeah,
people, when
yeah,
they're
yeah,
but God, it took
yeah,
him a while to connect in and there I am too, being in the chair going, well, I should be able to just have this connection with him, like
yeah, yeah,
automatically.
yeah,
And it
yeah,
wasn't, it wasn't like a reading, so,
yeah,
and then I
yeah,
had to be
yeah.
very patient with that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think I've sat in
It
so
was
many.
so
Yeah,
different. It was so different
it
for me.
was.
But
I think I've sat in so many audiences and sort of thought, pick me before I ever did
I do that all the time.
Yeah, you know, and now be on the other side of it, you know what they're feeling, you know what they want, you're trying to best to connect with them, and again, you can't say I understand your grief, but you have a pretty fair idea
Pretty
when
fair
you've walked
idea.
past. You know, it's nothing worse. When I was widowed, people had said, "Oh, I know how you feel," and I think, "Oh, no, you don't. You've not been widowed." You know what I mean? So people don't mean to, but sometimes they mean well, but you don't really know till you walk in that person's shoes. And when we've been on the other side of that grief, you really do have an understanding, you know. So and everyone it touches us, you know. So
yeah, totally. When
yeah.
how old were you when you were widowed? Is that what
I was
started this journey for you, or?
No, I think even before that, I think we'd lost people along the way, and you're always like, I'm Catholic, I believe in God. But you think,
Yeah.
okay, is there a way that people can communicate? These spirit people say they can communicate. And so always interested in it. When I was widowed at 26, I'd had gone to psychics
That's so
beforehand,
young,
so
Florence.
young, and had a little baby. He was only 19
Oh.
months. So, you know, and I remember going to the first one I went to, and she said, "You've got to forget him because you're keeping him earthbound." That made me so mad, you know. And in other words,
Oh
she wasn't a
my
medium. So
God.
instead of, I'm sorry, I'm not a
Oh,
medium, she just, you know what I
oh,
mean? I thought, wow. So lucky I'm stubborn, Beck, because I walked away going, she doesn't know
yeah.
what she's talking about. Am I supposed
Well
to tell my
done.
19-month-old son nothing about his father because I'm keeping him earthbound? So now, all these years later, I know she should have just had the integrity to say, I'm not a medium. You need to go find a medium. But she couldn't answer any questions. So she just said, oh, you're keeping him earthbound. So that was very damaging. But lucky, as I
No,
said, I
that's
bored. So it was like, as I said, it was 44 when I opened the door, and I was widowed at 26. But I'd always gone to psychics, and there was tidbits here and there, but nobody really ever blew my socks off because I don't think I'd actually seen a medium, you know. So,
yeah, it's very different.
so yeah, so I think that, and I can't tell many people tell me that they say the same thing. Oh, we're not supposed to
Yes.
mention them earthbound. Oh no,
Oh, I
no.
know, I
Be honest,
know.
just say, well, no, I'm not a medium. You should go and see a medium, and they'll hopefully connect with you. You know, so
Yeah,
because I mean, I had a son that was going to grow up and wanted to know everything about his father. You know,
totally.
so I
And
think
it's a
it was
part of the
44.
healing. It's a part of the
Yeah,
healing to be able
yeah,
to talk about them, to be able to share
exactly
those
right,
stories, to be able to,
right.
like,
Yeah,
that's so
yeah,
human. It's what makes us
yeah.
human. It's
Because
what
then I
makes us
think that's when you
human.
truly, if you don't remember your loved ones, then you truly are lost, aren't you? You know, because we've
Totally,
got,
totally.
yeah, you know, and they don't want their stories to be forgotten. I know when people say coming
No,
to the houses, and I'm like, I don't believe that people are trapped in the walls, but people that
no.
are connected to the like museums and stuff, they want their stories to be told, you know. So that's all it
Yeah, they
is, you know.
do. That
Yeah,
is. Yeah, I agree with that too. Totally. When I've gone on those
yeah,
ghost tours and I'm
yeah.
there and it's like, oh God. I
Pick
remember going
me,
on
pick me.
yeah. But I remember going on holiday. I went to London and my girlfriend and I went to this, haunted castle and I'm sitting there and they've got the show, the show part with things coming at you. But I remember going up the stairway and like something started to talk to me and I just was like, I'm on holiday. Just go away.
They're like,
I,
I don't care. You're not
I'm
the
here
boss
for
of me.
I'm here for the show. I just don't want to talk to you right now.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy, isn't it? Oh,
It was
geez.
just like
I
I
know.
just don't want to do it. I remember because all my kids have got a bit of this too, and poor
Yeah.
Jamesy, my youngest, too. I mean, now, he's getting a doctorate in chemistry or whatever, but,
Oh,
when he was little, he'd be like, I remember him being in his nappy and like, I don't know, he had a bottle or something. It was hot. We were at a friend's place. And and the old guy that had passed in the house was in the kitchen, right? And he's looking very grumpy, right? But I felt him first, and then Jamesy, who's like, I don't know, nearly 3, like, pointing with his dummy, bottle, whatever, hanging out, is just like,
wow. I
can you tell that man to go away? I don't like him.
love it. I love it. And kids aren't skeptics, Rebecca. They're not
No,
skeptics today. we teach them fear. We teach them fear of strangers and all that sort of thing, but they're not jaded and they see things and it is as
No.
it is, you know, and I love that. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally, totally. And then they all started talking to him. And then I was like, that's what helped me understand myself. It was also
Good.
through my children because it was
Yeah.
like, growing up, oh, Beck, you've got a vivid imagination. Oh, you've got a vivid
Yes.
imagination. Oh, who are you
Yeah.
talking to? Oh, I'm talking to, that lady on the wall there, like, and they go, which was the picture of my great grandmother or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, look, she's
Yeah.
got so many imaginary friends. And then like my kids
Yeah.
started saying
Yeah.
really weird things but
Yeah.
not weird
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, oh my God, you've got
Yes.
it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
How many people would have been, institutionalized because they were hearing voices or,
Yes.
so lucky we're in this era now that we can
Yeah, well, we have
open
an
up our chest and,
understanding.
and everyone's
Yeah.
conscious and aware and it's good,
Yeah,
so
totally. Because it is
yeah,
different. It's not like it's a voice that's coming from inside of your head,
that's
right?
right.
Like which
That's
which
right.
is very different. It's because they're outside of us. They're in our
Yeah, yeah,
conscious
yeah,
field, but they're
yeah,
not. It's not within our own heads. So, which is
yeah,
very
that's right.
different to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
schizophrenia and things. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Even I've
yeah,
got other views on that too, because I think sometimes they
yeah.
pick up a lot because they're so fragmented in their consciousness. I think they pick up on entities and
Between the worlds.
between the
Absolutely.
worlds, so there is
Yeah,
a bit of that
yeah,
going on too. Anyway,
that's
that's a
right.
whole other
Yeah,
download
yeah.
there, but yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well,
Oh
people
my
will
God.
say to me, I don't know if I'm gifted to come to your class. And I go, well, it's not a
Oh
matter of
my
being gifted. It's a matter
God.
of everyone's got
No.
intuition. Every single person. And that's
Yeah.
what I work with. And then the mediumship side's different. It's learning the language and learning the signs and
Yes.
learning to interpret. So, yeah, but
Yes.
everyone
Yes.
I always say
Yeah.
that's the foundation, and I'll help you build your house. But you're going to build the house, but I'll provide the foundation that's rock
Yeah.
solid. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the knowing and the gut instinct and
Yes.
all sorts of things. So
Totally.
yeah,
Totally. And you really do trust it and you really are successful. And I just,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I've said, like you're one of my favorite people.
Oh, back
And
at
I
you.
loved
Oh,
working with you. And
we had
I
fun. Oh,
loved
we
I
laughed.
loved watching you, do your thing. So
Oh, I
I always was
love it.
just in awe
Mm.
of that.
Oh, I
Now I
think
guess
passion.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is. There's a lot. You
yeah,
have a lot of passion, but that comes
yeah.
also from talent. It,
Oh,
it, it
thank
is true talent. So I
you.
guess I mean one of the things I ask everybody on this my little podcast is what does heart, mind, body, and we can talk about soul and spirit. Like what
Yeah.
does that mean? Coming into alignment or alignment mean for you?
I believe they really are three different entities in our head, in our and brain,
Yeah.
because head thinks, our heart feels, and then our
Yeah.
emotions take the whole thing, and then we've got our gut instinct. And they never are
Mm.
all in sync, I believe, because our heart will tell us, I'm going to go with that bloke, but the head's going heartbreaker. The heart
Yeah.
goes, but I love him. So nothing's ever sort of really in line. And when everything gets
Yeah.
in line, it's magic. But I think we overthink things, and that's why things aren't in
Yes.
line. And I think as us, what we do is we try to put those more in line by not overthinking things, by trusting, so
Mm.
that at least the gut and the head is in sync. The heart will be different,
Yeah.
the heart will feel and the heart can't control and all that sort of thing. So I think as
Mm.
long as you get 2 out of 3 in line, that's pretty good. But I think that's where the gut instinct and the head, they're pretty much always in sync, but the heart will take over,
Yeah.
okay, I can't crying in the middle of a reading or whatever, but it's perfectly natural that to question, and that's why they are all separate, because everyone questions that gut instinct. That's the head and the
Yes,
gut
that's
being
so
instinct,
true. Yeah.
and then the heart. Oh, I went with my heart, but my head was telling me something different. So they are all separate things, and that's the beauty of us all.
Mm.
So I don't know
Mm.
that we necessarily have to have them all in line. I guess that's the journey where we make mistakes, we learn, we fall down, we pick ourselves up, and that's probably what the journey of life's about. So I think
Yeah.
maybe they all line in sync in heaven, but I think if I could count how many times everything's in line with me, it'd be under 5 times. You know what I mean? But that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
But I think as
I
long as we're
love
aware of that
that.
too. So I hope that's
Yes.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
that makes sense. And I
yeah,
love that because I think, what I want, because everyone talks about we're spiritual beings having a human experience. But I think in
yeah,
my early days when I was studying and learning, part of it is it's not gaining mastery over our spirit. It's gaining
Yeah,
mastery over being human. So,
that's
you know,
right.
actually
Yeah, yeah,
understanding what it
yeah.
is to be human, and
That's right.
and maybe to bring in more kindness and more love, and
Yeah,
that I feel
that's
is
right.
what we try and do, and compassion in our own work. But it's
Absolutely.
like, hey, it's okay to be
Yeah,
human. It's okay to have
that-
grief. It's okay to
that's
have a
right.
laugh at yourself, you know,
That's
whatever it
right.
is. I
You
love
know,
your answer, Florence. Yeah.
oh, look, I think you've got to be, I think you think you're a decent person as best you can, but this work has taught me more levels about myself of compassion,
Yeah.
of hopefully that I see nicer layers to myself. But having said
Mm.
that, we've got all the emotions. Like I love when people say in our line of work, oh, you can't hate. Becca, I do hate. I
Oh,
hate people
wow. Yeah.
that hurt children, but I don't do
Yeah.
anything with that hate. That's the difference. You
Yes.
have to acknowledge that you get the feelings of ego, jealousy,
Yeah.
hate, all the things we don't like, but you keep them
Yeah.
in control. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So if you
Totally.
pretend you don't have these feelings, and you're not really being honest with yourself.
No.
And I think so, and you have to acknowledge that you get angry, and you have to acknowledge that people hurt you.
Yes.
And I'm not going to turn the cheek for them to slap the other one. I'm going to give them a wide berth.
No.
Those are
Yeah.
all human reactions, and I think it's taught me like to handle anger, because maybe
Mm.
I'd be confrontational when I was younger. Now I'm like, you know what? They don't like me. I don't like them. We don't need to cross paths. We don't need to hurt each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Waste
Yeah.
energy. But that's a real, people don't get
Yeah.
on with everybody. People do annoy
No.
people, and so they're all human. So I think in that sort of sense, that's where I've got a little bit more in line. Where okay, I think now that I don't have to react, and it's like when
Mm.
people do stupid things on the
Oh,
internet.
keyboard
Don't have
warriors.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
react.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why engage in
Yeah.
that? You know what I mean? So I think that's where we do come a little bit more in line. And then I like better parts of myself. I'm not reacting to people that
Mm.
want to push buttons. So I think
Yes. Yes.
we're
Yeah.
always learning how to sort of handle things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a very good point. And I think too, like we were you know, I find too, like those experiences on TV and things like that, you have to really lift your game and be professional
yeah,
and rock up. And
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
you know, we're trying to be the best versions of ourselves in a public
yeah,
way, you know, and then
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you get
yeah,
criticism, you get flack, you get the jealousy, you get
yeah,
everything thrown
yeah,
at you, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I think
Well,
people
my
picked on
opinion.
my teeth, or I laughed too much, or my
Oh, yeah,
laugh's loud, or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah,
learn,
yeah,
you have to
yeah,
learn
yeah.
to let it go. It doesn't mean it doesn't
You
hurt. It
do,
doesn't mean that you're like, oh God, or
absolutely,
whatever.
absolutely.
But
And we want everyone
yeah,
to like us, and it does hurt, and it does, and I think it's awful when people can be so nasty without knowing
and
you,
they
and
are.
then when they say things that aren't factual. And the thing is, at the end of the
Yes.
day, my opinion was, when we're in the public eye, I've never seen myself as a celebrity, but when people come and say
No.
they're, I love that. And we wouldn't be here without them. And I remember,
Yeah.
especially on TV, I'd always make sure if somebody took the time to say, you made my day, or you're a good person, and I'd read those comments.
Yes.
But coming on the back of that, you'd also get the people that would tear you apart. So, we
Yeah.
have to accept in the public eye. But I think, that is so nasty. I don't know why people, if I don't like
Yeah.
somebody, I certainly don't sit watching them for 3 hours on TV. What does
Yeah.
that say about you? You know what I mean?
I
So people,
know.
you sort of want to respond when people say, oh, you're an idiot. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
who's the idiot? Because you're watching me. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean,
I
it's
know.
the same thing. I don't bother with that. So but you just, at the end
No.
of the day, I'm not going to engage in it. But you have to still remember, so you don't want to read the comments because of the horrible comments, but then you want to
Yes.
support the people that are supporting you.
People that
So
support you. Yeah, totally.
yeah, yeah. But
Exactly.
yeah, other
Exactly.
things I remember somebody saying when they watched the documentary, oh, her son's her manager, and it's all, and I'm thinking, my son's not my manager, and I don't know where you got that from, but people, as I said, people just, they'll add 1 and 1 and get 27, so I'm
Yeah,
like,
they
I
do.
don't know.
Yeah. They make false
Yeah,
assumptions, that's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah. So
totally.
lovely, Florence.
Oh,
Let's tell everybody, because people should, I mean, there are many that know of you, but let's, get many more to know of you. So what shows you've got something at Ramsgate? Like, I'm down the
I've got
road. I'm going to come and see you. When's
Oh,
that?
well,
I
it's
need
a
to buy a
fundraiser.
ticket to that.
It's the 23rd of August, so it's only a
Mm.
couple of weeks. It's only $20, Beck. We're trying to do fundraising,
Oh,
keep the doors open. So I'll be on for an hour. There'll be
Okay.
another gentleman on for an hour. So it's a 3-hour show for $20. So, and it's to
That's
support the church.
amazing.
Oh, it's
Okay.
beautiful. So
All
to
right.
keep the church
Okay.
doors open because they have horrific insurances and they're there to try and help the people, So I'm doing that. I've
Yeah.
got 2
Okay.
shows coming up in Canberra, so I'm very excited about that. So that's doing a
Fantastic.
matinee in an evening. So so I'm doing
Oh,
shows left, right, centre. So yeah, and then
well
Ben Rundle and
done.
we're doing a show together, so it's just shows. I think, I think the main thing I love is the TV and the stage, and I think it
Yeah.
shows when
Yeah.
I'm in my,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So
No,
and
you're
I think
really good at it.
we want to get to as many people as we can, and the audiences and TV is the best forum, so that and if people
Yes.
can't afford to see us, that's why we do the free shows. Or I remember
Yes.
doing a show last year at Liverpool RSL, and again another thing that I don't think anybody ever done. I did a free platform show. We got about 200 people through the door, and it was just free, and it just let them come
That's
in and just.
amazing, Florence.
So do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yes, we make money and earn, and I love when people
Yeah.
say it's a natural gift and you shouldn't charge, but we don't have natural
Oh,
mortgages. We don't have
no,
natural.
we
We got to
don't.
feed everybody too.
I
But it's
know.
but we do as much free stuff as we can. I'm on the radio. I'm on
Yes.
Facebook. Just so that people, if they need a reading, that we're still approachable and accessible. So
Yeah.
so when the
Yeah.
churches say they need help, like we did a fundraiser a couple of weeks ago. One of my beautiful students lost 2 children in a house fire, so we did a
Oh,
fundraiser. We sold out. We got 100 people through the door, and so those sorts of things is giving back, because you can't help it
that's
the other way but
yeah.
money. So yeah,
Oh,
so yeah.
Florence, you are an earth angel. That's amazing. So
Oh, you, thank
how,
you.
so I mean, I will put your website in the,
Oh, thank you.
what do you call it? The whatever, the
Yeah,
description at the
I
end.
trust you to work for it. It's just florencemedium.com.
FlorenceMedium.com. All right, cool.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so
thank you,
is all
darling. Yeah, yeah.
like the
Everything's on there.
shows,
Yeah,
is everything
yeah.
on
As
there
soon
so
as
people can go?
yeah,
Yeah, all right.
absolutely.
My
We have an
gosh,
event
I'm going to
page.
buy a
Yeah,
ticket to
yeah.
the Ramsgate and
Oh,
come and see
I'd
you,
love to
because,
see you. It's so good.
and
Get
you'll
a hug.
be, yeah, exactly. Because I went traveling for a couple of, so I missed a
Yeah,
couple of Mind Body Spirit festivals because I went
yeah,
traveling with my partner.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that was
Oh,
great. So having a bit of a
yeah,
holiday.
yeah.
But you'll be at Mind Body Spirit
I
this year as
will.
well. Yeah,
I
in
will. Yep.
October.
October. Yep. And they've just given me, I've got one stage appearance on the Sunday at 4 o'clock. So that's free.
Okay.
So, so
Yeah,
that's all
yeah,
part of the thing.
yeah,
So again, it's good to go and see. People can try before they buy, or if they're lucky to
yeah,
get a reading, or at least they
yeah.
can
Because you
see,
get
because
booked out.
in a
Yeah,
live audience, people can see, well, there's no hidden cameras or there's no smoke
yeah.
and mirrors. Do you know what I mean? And they can see, because you always worry on TVs and
We're
editors.
not getting, yeah, we're
Yeah,
not getting, information about you and then feeding it to you.
that's right. Well, I was on the radio and one person rang in and they said, I don't know if it was like me. They said, but I was in one of the audience at MBS and there was a lot of questions being asked of the audience and I thought it was a little bit, anyway, so I went, no. Anyway, I thought about it. It didn't sit well with me. And we went on with the readings and I went, hang on, can we circle back? I don't allow my audience to ask questions. That's not.
No,
And there was a
no,
lady in the studio, and she said, "No, I was in the audience." She said, "And she doesn't ask questions." And she
no,
read
you
me, and she didn't
don't.
know me. So I thought that was very good, because it's
Yeah.
natural to think things can be set up or edited on
Mm,
TV or that sort of thing. So I think in an organic environment with an audience,
yeah,
you can see
yeah.
that, well, okay. Or and one lady actually moved seats and got closer, so there wasn't seat numbers, or do you know what I mean? So I think
No,
that was a good
exactly.
way.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
I've seen enough of your live shows to know that how authentic you are and the impact that you
Oh,
have.
I love it. I love
That's
it.
what I mean. Like,
I can't tell you how many
no
times they laugh
offense
at
to
the price.
many, to people that I know, but I would
Oh,
stop work and I'd go and I'd,
I know.
sit and try and watch your show.
Love
And I
that.
didn't want to have a
Love
reading
that.
when you were
Oh,
working and doing your
I
lives.
love that.
So because
I love
it's
that.
just so amazing. So
There's
Florence,
so
I
many
just
people
want
who laugh and cry. Yeah,
to
sorry. At the same
No,
time.
you're hilarious. I love it. I love you. And
Oh,
you are. I mean,
yeah,
I don't want to say you're a performer in that inauthentic
yeah,
way,
yeah,
but you
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah,
do
yeah, yeah,
hold
yeah.
that stage, and you do it with
Oh, I love it.
humor, you do it with grace,
Oh,
and you do it with absolute
oh, thank you.
compassion. So, yeah, that's why you're one
I
of my
remember
favorites.
I remember doing a home party and the lady said, stop. And she went and got a roll of toilet paper and went, oh, where are we going here? And she goes, well, I hear you make people cry and we don't have any tissues. So I went, okay, so she's toilet paper. So I thought, oh, you never know. And I can't tell many people laughing and crying at the same time.
Yeah, they do. You do. You have that effect on people.
I had the most amazing story. I know we've got to go, but I had this amazing.
No, please share it.
I did a show at the entrance a couple of weeks ago, and this poor man, there was 3 teenage suicides, and the audience was, they all sort of bonded together in grief for the parents. And one of the men I was talking to, his son had committed suicide, and the boy in spirit said, look over there. Why is she crying? I don't know her. And I looked over and I said, why are you crying? She said, I don't know. It's so sad. But the boy in the spirit went, I don't know her. Why is she crying? And I thought, isn't that beautiful? How people were crying for his dad, because I thought, the audiences, even if they don't get a reading, they're bonding because of somebody else's
bonding
pain
together.
And those people walked away knowing the whole audience was with them. And it was one of the most beautiful, even though they were horrific passings, it was one of the most beautiful connections with the audience. But the boy in spirit, I don't know her. Why don't know her.
And that just shows you the power, like the power of healing, you know, when you can bring those messages through and then people are like, because and I know I need to go and we both need to go, but again, it's that we could, but you know, just that validation, because when people have passed in a tragic circumstance, the family, it's like PTSD, they're in shock. Right. And sometimes too, even though, people are, pass of cancer and horrible things, even though the family are like, oh, I'm so glad they're out of pain, they're still in a state of shock because they've had to go through those experiences. So when you're sitting there and being, in that whole group situation and people are bonding, it's very healing. It's healing for people. Does that make sense? So I really don't underestimate the power of that. And what a gift you are. So you really do. You really are. Now I'm getting teary. Yeah. No, I can't wait to see you.
I knew. Look, crying. Look. I can't wait to see you, darling. I can't wait to see you.
Can't wait to see you either. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you again. And I whenever, I've taken my time and in getting this podcast up and running, because I wanted to do it, I think, even before I went on TV. My kids are like, Mum, you should, they started listening to podcasts before I knew what they were. And so it's taken me, they're in their 30s now, some in their mid to late 20s, the other 2 in their 30s. So it's taken me a while, but whenever I was like, you were one of the first people really that I thought about to have on.
I love that. Well, the way of the future, and you do it better than me. So, I adore you.
Oh, no.
It kind of feels like we're in the same room together and we're catching up anyway, So
I know, right? Exactly.
I know the mind, body, spirit, when I see you, you're on the lunch break and I grab you like, let's get a photo.
I know, because we're both busy, but it's good. It's good to be busy, isn't it? It's good to be of service in the way that we are. And but
how bad is
thank
this?
you.
63. Beck, I'm 63 and I should be thinking of retirement. And I pray to Spirit and God that they let me do this till I'm 99. I really.
You'll be doing this.
I love it.
You'll be doing this for a long time. You really will. You really will. So
I'll be walking on stage going, wait, I'm coming.
They'll bring her out and be like, Yeah, no, you'll be doing it a long time. What was that? Beautiful. Is it Sylvia Brown or something? She went for a very long time. She had that really kind of raspy voice. She was, she went for a long time. You'll be doing this a long time. Yeah.
I hope so.
You really will.
What do they say? It's not work when you love what you do,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly. Oh. All right, my lovely. Thank you so much for coming on. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye, beautiful.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Heart, Mind, Body Collective podcast. Our mission is to bring together conversations that inspire healing, growth, connection, and human potential. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who may need this message right now. Until next time, take care of your heart, your mind, and your body.